What's going on, everybody? It's Mike Trampy from BeatStars.com, hanging out with my good buddy, Andrew from TubeBuddy. What's going on, Andrew? How are you?
Doing very well. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. Really excited to talk about some amazing things that can help a lot of people.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you taking the time. If you guys are not familiar with TubeBuddy, it's a free extension that you can use to help just kind of run your YouTube channel more smoothly. We've been using it now for, I'd say, a couple years. It feels like a couple years. It's a huge tool for our own BeatStars YouTube channel, our best beats on YouTube, our sad beats channel. We have a ton of different channels that we promote you guys content every day to help you get sales. And I just think it's beneficial. So I want you guys to kind of hear what Andrew has to say. Check out, he's going to share a screen. Check out kind of what the plugin or the extension offers, and I think you're going to find it really beneficial. So, Andrew, I will let you run with it because this is your baby, and I know you got a lot of cool information to share with us.
So before we even do that, how can people get TubeBuddy if they don't know how to get it already?
Yeah, so you can actually go to TubeBuddy.com/BeatStars, and you can kind of
Awesome.
check everything out there for sure.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so everyone can kind of get a little bit of a look of what we have going on here. So please let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Awesome. So the first thing I want to showcase is essentially the TubeBuddy drop-down menu, which you can see in right here. And what this is it's just going to take you around YouTube very quickly. But for our purposes and for purposes of music promotion and making sure that you are being able to be found, then this is a tool called Tag Explorer. But before we break into that, I want to show everyone kind of what they get for free with TubeBuddy. They get a lot of access to our bulk product, our bulk tools, things like this. They get SEO, they get promo tools, they get research, and that's really what we're going to be focusing on is this research. So as we go through here, you can kind of just see right away, TubeBuddy is integrated immediately and directly through YouTube. You don't have to go to a third-party site. So a lot of music content creators, they're trying to find new people to purchase and buy their music. And with YouTube, a lot of YouTube creators are looking for amazing music, and they don't necessarily have good places to go. A lot of people know the free stuff, but a lot of times creators want personalized music for them. So if we were to just do a little search, we can just type in best free songs or best songs for YouTube videos, right? So this will show one thing that TubeBuddy can do right away for you. And this can show you things that people are actually searching for using TubeBuddy's Search Explorer. And a lot of times we want to look for metadata and we want to look for things that people are really looking for. And what we do here at TubeBuddy is we give you a score. So as you can see, as I just quickly change this to make it stand out just a little bit.
Hey, Andrew, real
Go
quick,
ahead.
is there any way instead of doing best songs for YouTube videos, can we actually use some tags that we would actually probably use on our end for the producer side? Can we just do Drake, DRAKE space type space beat? Exactly. Thank you.
So this will show us with TubeBuddy, this is actually going to show us that this keyword is very competitive, right? So the way YouTube works and what YouTube recommends is that you find specific niches that are really competitive and good to target, right? So what we're finding with TubeBuddy is that you can go for this and that a lot of people are searching for, but you have to be very in mind that a lot of people are trying to hit this, as you can see by the competition chart. So this is a good basic idea, but let's break it down even more. So we typed in Drake type beat just in general, but as we look here, some people are typing in Drake type beat instrumental, Drake type beat desire, and this gives you a little more specific of what people are actually searching for. So if we were to just say Drake type beat instrumental, we're going to see different results than we do for just Drake type beat, right? And as you can see, this score is slightly going up. So as we continue to look for things that fit the search, you have to remember that the way YouTube works is it's a search engine. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to try to show content that people are actively searching for, because YouTube is trying to make sure that whatever you type here, they're showing you answers to the searchable question. So as you can see, just as a quick overview, when we type in Drake type beat instrumental, YouTube is already using this search term in the description here. So we can see Drake type beat being highlighted. We can see instrumental being highlighted. So what this means is that if you are typing and titling your video with Drake type beat instrumental, TubeBuddy is showing us that this has a lot of competition, but it also has a lot of search volume. So if you remember, just Drake type beat was an 11 out of 100. This is 16 out of 100. So now we're getting a little more specific, and we're still seeing that a lot of people are looking for this. So we just typed in Drake type beat instrumental. Well, let's try Drake type beat instrumental with hook. All very relevant to what, music content producers are looking for, and at least trying to make it to where they can find their content. And all of a sudden, just by going from Drake type beat, we've found something that this is a tag that it's pretty low to medium on the competition, but it's having a lot of people searching for it. So automatically, we found something that gives a decent way for people to try to target and rank for, because people are looking for this, but there isn't that much content currently that is showing what this is being searched for. So this is very good because there is some competition. It has a high enough search to make it worth targeting. And again, if you know that the song you've produced really fits with this, and you know how to use software like TubeBuddy to really help optimize it, then this would be a great title, great description, and tag immediately. And because you can see what people are searching for and you have access to this data, you're going on more factual based stuff than feeling based data. So this is just a great example of knowing what your song is about, which is again Drake type beat, and then using research to see ways that people are searching for it. So you can put your song here, and then you can easily put your download link through BeatStars in your description to help, get sales or whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's a really big thing, and it's key to have your short URL in the description, so you can drive people. It makes it easier for the customer too. You drive them right to your store, direct the purchase. They shouldn't have to jump through hoops, email, juggle. It should be a very easy process for them. Plus, it's going to help too. It's going to help overall with everything. So yeah, this is really interesting. Continue.
I see from It's Too Easy in the chat who's wondering if we can do Juice WRLD type beat. Would that be all right for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Another really high trending artist.
So Juice WRLD type beat, and he said 2018 specifically, right? So let's take a look at this. So similar to what we're seeing before is that the competition is high and so is the search volume. So because it's so competitive, it's not impossible, but you're going to have to be competing with something, as we can see, that's going to frequently have new content. And what YouTube does is, if you don't know how YouTube works, it sorts stuff by relevancy. So if we hit the filters here, the default is relevancy. And so what they're looking for is what's the newest thing to show here. And YouTube recently released something called the new tag. So the problem with this search in particular is that because of how many times people are creating content for this, is that you're going to constantly be fighting with new videos every day. So unless you can easily produce this kind of content every day, this may not be a search term worth targeting. However, we can see here that there are more breakdowns for what people are looking for, right? So we can see that they're looking for, this seems like specific songs. But if we use what we learned from the other one, Juice WRLD type beat instrumentals, like that was using what we learned from the other search, well, then maybe we see a very specific search that people are looking for that has a way better score. And all that took was me understanding what we learned from the last research we did. So with that, we went from a score that wasn't that great to immediately better. And it has, again, a lot of search volume, but not that much competition. And this immediately, It's Too Easy, allows you to go in and target this. And you can see that there's a lot of new content here, but because that people are searching for this and it's not as competitive, you have a better way of showing up.
Can I just chime in on something you said too? I think it was really important. I think you went back to the relevancy thing. You said unless you're doing this every day, and that's actually a conversation we have within the community a lot, is consistency and why it's so important. Now, I don't expect everybody to upload beats every day, unless they have kind of like the arsenal to do that. But you would say it's definitely important to have some type of consistency with uploading, whether it's 3 times a week, twice a week, or even just once a week. It's better than just uploading once a month or once every few months, correct?
Correct, because what YouTube wants is YouTube wants you to be uploading. They want you to be able to keep people on YouTube, and even if you get them to get your beats and stuff, you're keeping them on YouTube. You did something that helped YouTube have a song that has watch time, and YouTube wants people on their site watching. If you're gonna, use your BeatStars link, that's great. And then you're just giving them an option to buy your stuff so they can create more content. Because a lot of times when people are looking for this kind of music, it could be for their own personal enjoyment, but a lot of content creators search this way for music. So if you become a way that people are typing in and using your music, then you not only helped another creator, you have your name out there and you're helping YouTube. So you're kind of helping everyone.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. No, that's really, really good information.
So I'm just seeing some more questions from the chat, and this one is from Sideline Beats, who asked, "Does it help if we change the tags after a few months/weeks?" So the way YouTube tags work are, let's just click on a video per se, right? Would that be all right with you? Do you have a video specifically I could use for BeatStars that does well?
I mean, if all the searches you have right there are all BeatStars links, so I mean, our producers pretty much have a stranglehold on YouTube. So
All right.
I mean, people that jump up a lot, I know, is somebody like Cash Money AP. I mean, if you just search that guy, he's gonna have tons of stuff come up. Cash Money, or CASH.
All right.
Yeah, Cash Money A as an Apple P. Yep.
All right. So this is an example of a search. So if we look here, we see that again, just by typing in Cash Money AP, even if we go into type beats, this is another example of the search term we can look up. But again, what we're going to find is that most people are trying to target just this it's specific, but it's almost too competitive. So just by adding instrumental, we can see how it changes drastically. And then again, you can find other ways, right? So like if we know this is an instrumental beat, we just add the year. Again, we have even better. So what you're trying to do is, for tags, they don't work like on any other platform. On YouTube, tags are pieces of data that stay this way. So let's take a look at this new video from Cash Money AP. Is that all right?
Yep. Sorry, I keep putting you on mute. you're good, man. I keep saying yeah, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm on mute. But yeah, you're good.
So just kind of taking a look here, when it comes to YouTube, the way they're going to rank tags, and this is something that's good for your audience to understand, is if your tags aren't showing these green numbers, what this means is that they're not ranking on search. So these tags that have this green number means that they're showing up in search. So if I was to type in Trippy Red type beat 2018 into search, this would be the number 9. But if I typed in free Trippy Red type beat instrumental 1, and I can just click on this tag with TubeBuddy, and I can click open in a new tab, the first thing we're going to see is the same video that's mentioned here. See? So what you want to focus on, because this was a question about tags, is you want to focus on tags that are ranking. Because if they're not ranking, they're not necessarily doing anything for your video. Now, one thing a lot of creators do is that they have like free, they have trippy, they do one-word keyword tags. And the problem with these is that these are too competitive, and most creators, even large creators, like someone with 546,000 subscribers, can't even rank for them. So they're almost not worth including just because most creators never rank for them. And these are opportunities for tags you could put that would help you show up.
What if I have a question? So
Go for it.
So you just said you want to focus on keywords that are ranking, correct? But
Yes.
what if in the instance, and I think I mentioned this to you before we went live, was I suggest producers a lot of time will, I don't want to say complain, but I guess it is complaining. They basically say, oh, it's too saturated. How am I going to rank a Drake type beat and stuff like that? And obviously you just showed them ways that they can, but what about looking at the SoundCloud charts, looking at Audio Max charts, looking at Spotify charts, looking at all these new artists that are kind of making a name for themselves, or maybe an artist just got signed but really hasn't had their promotional run, and they're still growing, but maybe you're a fan of the music, or maybe it sounds like Drake, but is this another way that you can utilize and pretty much make a new tag? So say the new artist is somebody like this guy named Lil Mosey.
Mhm.
And say I'm assuming he's probably not ranking super high. Maybe I'm wrong, but is it smart to go after new artists to use their tags even if they're not ranking yet, and kind of being like, kind of the first in line, and kind of having a your stamp there? So then when, if say that artist does become the next Drake and the searches go through the roof, are you going to necessarily be ranking high? I would think so, but maybe you can give me some more information and give our community more information on that, because I think that's a cool way of kind of like not following the pack and kind of doing your own thing and still working on stuff that matches your sound.
Absolutely. So essentially, you've noticed that an artist is up and coming, and that you have a sound that either is similar. You know that you can create something that you would enjoy that is very similar to that, and you want to get on top of the trend, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So let's use the example you gave. Can you tell me how to spell that so we can just search it up?
Yeah, it's Lil and then space Mosey. Type
All right. So
type.
Little Mosey. And one thing I noticed is that you keep saying like type beat, right?
Exactly. It's pretty much what that is saying is, I mean, how I break it down to people, what it is you create a beat usually just with whatever kind of melodies and ideas you have in your head, or whatever mood you're in, or you might have the artist in mind. But I think most of the times, me growing up in the music industry for 20 plus years now, even when I was younger and there was no internet, producers would be making beats in the studio, and after they make the beat, be like, yo, who do you hear on this? Oh, I hear Nas on this beat. So it's pretty much the same, philosophy of that. So they make the beats and they say, oh, I can hear this artist on the beat, and that's all it is. And it's just implementing that with SEO and tagging and all that stuff. So that's kind of a quick breakdown on type beats.
Absolutely. So just to kind of answer a few questions from the chat, I see something here from Landon Price Beats who says, "Do you need 1 million plus channel views to rank high on high related search keywords?" No. Essentially, the way YouTube does it is if your video gets people to watch the entire thing and it makes a lot of people stay on YouTube, then that's what they care about. So you can see channels that may not have millions or even thousands of subscribers show up for terms. It's also based on how competitive is this term, because as I said earlier, YouTube's always trying to put that relevance information first, and you can see it just by the way they filter, right? So if we know that they're focusing on relevancy, then it makes more sense when we see things from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago start showing up high. So that's why it's so important to be consistent. As you were saying, you need to make sure that you're being consistent, and you can't it's not saying that you have to produce a piece of content every day, but do your best to produce content frequently. Now, to go back on the search of what we're looking at, which is Little Mosey type beat,
It's actually
this
poor.
makes
It's poor. I can see it. So people are already on it. This is what I mean. So go ahead. Sorry.
but this is an example of this is a way your industry would look for it, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
But what about people outside of your industry?
Uh,
So
they
let's
they might do the same thing, to be honest, or maybe use instrumental or something similar.
let's type in something like this, right? All of a sudden, we're seeing that people are typing in, and it has decent search, but not a lot of competition. All of a sudden, we're seeing that people are looking for things that sound like this artist, right? And if you look, there's not that much competition here. In fact, this is green for the pickings, right? So this is how creatives think about it. So what are you, if you're trying to, what YouTube is a search engine. If you're the answer to this, searchable question. So Little Mosey sound like, all right, Little Mosey beats sound like. Again, all very searchable. So this is just a way a creative would search about it. So this is a way you can be in a competitive, not in a non-competitive, but search tag that's really good for your artist to target, because the problem is that so many people are going for these high-end keywords because that's what they would search for, but they have to remember that their audience may not be searching the same way. And just right here is an example. So let's go back to the first one you gave me, which was Drake type, right?
Yep. Drake. Yeah. Him and Juice WRLD are two of the highest searched on our platform, and just I think within rap and hip hop today.
So let's type songs that sound like Drake, just for an idea here. Immediately, we're seeing that this is being pretty well searched, but has very little competition. So you have to remember that a lot of times people don't know that it's beat types, or they don't know that that's what it is. And like creatives will search for different ways to how to see it. So all of a sudden, you have ways that people are looking for this, that that ways are people looking like this. So you have songs that sound like Drake, then you could put a dash and whatever your song title is. And then you are targeting songs that sound like Drake, which is what people are looking for. And then they know your song name. And that is something you can use right now because, again, this has very little competition, but a lot of people are starting to search for this. So this gives you a way to understand that, hey, people are looking for this, but not a lot of people are serving this.
Is there a way within TubeBuddy, or is this more of like a Google uh I think it's Google Trends, that you can actually see what artists, rappers are actually like being searched the most? I think with Google Trends you can compare, but do you have something built within?
So if we go to, yes, we do. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. The way I would say is you can do search rank tracking, which lets you see where people are ranking within the search. So let's go here. Apologies, I'm not logged in on this account, but it gives you an idea of ways people can do it. It's also, we do pull from Google Trends for a few things. So let's say we'll go to Tag Explorer, right? Let's type in what's an artist that's trending right now or you think is trending.
Let's say, I mean, Drake's another one. We could do Juice World again. We could do Travis Scott. You can do Eminem if you want to. I mean, that's the big one.
So with Travis Scott, people are giving some suggestions to answer your question. Classy Beats. This will be available later, correct, BeatStars?
Yeah, it will be. And just to chime in too, real quick, because I see something from Tour God, who's an awesome member, and I love his stuff. He's saying this is bad advice. Nobody searches this way. I get what you're saying, and I think what Andrew's doing is giving you examples of what you can do. That's not the norm. So I think I wouldn't take those search keys exactly and literally. Play around with it with anything. Like I tell people with my advertising, when I do advertising videos, a lot of this is trial and error, and having a tool like TubeBuddy is just getting you ahead of the game. So I wouldn't take that literally. That you have to use this exactly, and I think you can kind of back that up, Andrew.
Yeah. Now, what I was saying is, think about other ways that people search for songs. You're used to a certain way because you're in the industry, but that doesn't mean that's how everyone searches for songs. That's the beauty of data, is that we can see that people are searching this way. It doesn't mean you necessarily target it in that way, but it's showing other ways you can think about targeting. So with this, what we offer through TubeBuddy is rising queries. So we can show you terms that are starting to break out, and we can show you the things that people have been looking for over. So for example, here, these are terms that are breaking out for when you type in Travis Scott. And then when you click on this, you can see it within search. So this is just an example of a song he has, obviously. But it shows that people are looking for this. And right now, there's not that much competition, right?
What if you added like type beat or beat in there? Is that going to give you different?
So the way this would just be on how Google Trends work. We can try it, but it's not necessarily that this specific search is going to be trending.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because that's just how it works. But if we look Travis Scott type beat, we're seeing that it's very competitive. So I see Toriga A is saying how to become Travis Scott. They want to see the results for. But if you look here, what we do is we give you auto-suggested. And this is really good because what this shows you is this is what people are searching for on Google and on YouTube for this search term specifically. So on YouTube, people are typing in Travis Scott type beat Astro World, Travis Scott type beat Zombies, Inferno, etc. But this also shows you what they're looking for on Google. So these are just ways you can see what people are actually searching for. So you can maybe try to target these keywords if your song fits it. Again, you always want to make sure you're following the rules of whatever platform you're on, be it SoundCloud, be it YouTube, be it Google, wherever. Make sure you're following their best practices and their rules. But for this Travis Scott type beat, if we look at historical, this will show us if this is trended, and here's the trend for it.
When was that? What can you cover over when it spiked?
It spiked
It was
August.
his album just released that week, so that makes complete total sense. So that's other things you can look at too. I would think would make a lot of sense. Is look at when a lot of these guys are dropping albums. Like Eminem, I'm sure if you do Eminem next, I bet you his spiked big time in the last week because of everything that's going on between him and MGK and everybody else he dissed on his new album, the new album dropping. I mean, that could be another kind of strategy that you implement and you use TubeBuddy to kind of say, okay, well, Travis Scott dropped the beat. There's going to be a lot of people probably looking for beats now. And then you can find ways to find those other tags like Travis Scott type beat instrumental or the year or whatever it is, and then you can kind of manipulate through all the traffic and kind of have your own lane.
Well, let's think about this. If let's say songs like Travis Scott, right? Let's see if that does anything. So this gives an example of ways that people are. It doesn't have a lot of competition, but there's some decent search for it. I don't think it will be trending, but you never know. And if you look here, it is. It's on the upward right now. So this is another way people would search for this that doesn't have a lot of competition right now on YouTube. People are definitely searching for it, but on YouTube, there's not a lot of market yet.
Okay. What if you do beats like Travis Scott? Is that going to?
You can try it.
Yeah, will that change it big time?
And again, songs like Travis Scott's just another way that other people. So we're seeing similar results here. So very similar here. We might show up. But this one necessarily doesn't have a lot of search. And that kind of proves my point. There's not much trending data for beats like, but there is for songs like. And that's just a slight difference you can do that says. Now, I see what you're saying. I really recommend you guys carve your name. I see that from, is it Targat or Torgat? Who says, I really recommend you guys carve your own name onto your niche. It can be hard to compete. I definitely agree. It's understanding, though, what you're trying to do with your song. This is how people are searching. And if you feel like your song fits this search, then Google cares. Then be the answer to a searchable question. It's understanding the platform you're on.
Interesting. Guys, we're all in here trying to learn too. So please leave the sarcastic, snarky comments out. They're not funny and wasting my time and Andrew's time and everybody else's time. So thank you. Sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
Go for it. But as you see, it just kind of proves my point that not everyone searches for beats like Travis Scott, right? But when we typed in songs like, we saw different results. And that's on the historical data on Google Trends, which is what we're pulling from here, as you can see. So you get an idea of these are ways that people are looking for. And if your song fits that and you feel like it's like that, then that helps you be discovered.
Guys, this is good stuff too, not just for selling beats too. Like if you work with artists and you want to market your videos, you're going to need to do stuff like this too. So look at it like that way too, not just from the beat selling perspective. Because I mean, I'm sure all of you work with artists or want to work with artists and building relationships with your own artists. Like this is just good information all around.
And another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of artists nowadays are being found on SoundCloud, they're being found on YouTube, and that's powerful. If you show up when people are looking for artists like someone else, then that's good. Obviously, you want to carve your own name. I don't think there's any artist who doesn't, but it's understanding that it's called the music game, the music business for a reason. And that's kind of something you have to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
So if we do, what about we try something else, right? Let's try another search term. Yes, this is great digital marketing advice in general, says radioactivebeats.com. Also a good idea to target other artists that sound like the artist you're targeting in the type beats tags. Absolutely.
Torgat saying, do we use these alternate terms for our tags or titles also?
So you're going to call it, these are going to be your tags, because the way YouTube works is it relies heavily on your titles, your tags, and your descriptions. So let's say that you have a song and that's going to be your title, right? I would say that whatever your title is, the way YouTube works, and this is just, you have to remember, YouTube is not like SoundCloud. YouTube is a search engine. So you got to keep that in mind. So this is just a different platform. Facebook is different from YouTube. Instagram is different from YouTube, but YouTube works on search-based results. So if you want to show up for YouTube, I would say as I said earlier, we were using sounds like Drake. Well, let's go back to Travis Scott again, right? We'll use him as the example. When we type in, going to Tag Explorer just here, showing it again, songs like Travis Scott, then what I would say you do is you title it your song name, whatever that may be. So let's just say I created a song, we titled it TubeBuddy Rocks, which would probably not work, but it's just an example's sake. Then we would put the dash songs like Travis Scott, because the thing is, people are searching for songs like Travis Scott. They don't necessarily know the name of your song yet, but your song name is the answer to the searchable question, which is songs like Travis Scott. And that's how Google works too. So if we look at songs like Travis Scott, right now, that is at a historical high, or it's hit a high it did similar to here, where it's more relevant than it was months ago. And that's, as you said, relevant to when his album released. So you said Eminem earlier, and I know he just recently.
Yeah, new album. This is going back and forth. There's a lot of stuff going on with him. I mean, I think he would trend high in general, but I mean, yeah, look, it's. Or wait, did you not put it in yet? See, I see it going up. There we go.
And again, this is just another way that. Yeah, it's going up.
Yeah, it's gonna keep going. Once he releases that disc back to MGK, woo, it's over.
So radioactivebeats.com is asking, will going back and changing our old tags work at this point? Only if they're not ranking. So I'm seeing a few questions on this as well. So it only makes sense to change your old video tags. So let's use this. Would you be okay if I just choose a random video, for example, just to show the tags?
Yeah, can we do a type beat though, if possible, or is it make
Sure, of course.
Just because I want to make it a little bit more relatable to these guys as much as possible.
Absolutely.
You can just literally, do type beat and pick whatever.
So I want an older video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter my results, and I'm going to go by this year instead of in the last hour, which is the default. So let me just quickly change that, because I want a little bit of an older beat, right? And this will give me an example of stuff you should consider, right? So here we have tags that I'm not sure of the ranking. So we are ranking for 2, which is type beat, which is how we found this video, and then Cash Money AP, right? And this is Cash Money again. But notice how none of these tags are ranking. What that means is that when you type these into search, this video doesn't show up. So all that means for this video is that the only way people are going to find this video is through either YouTube's algorithm of suggested or 2 terms. All these other terms are missed opportunities. So I would say they could easily go back and replace these tags, keep the tags you're ranking for because they're working for you, but everything else here, they're not ranking for. So it's not a good opportunity.
Yeah, ranking on the type beat term is insane though. Like, I mean, that's
huge.
Yeah,
which is how we found it.
Exactly.
But there are other opportunities.
Yep, absolutely. No, I agree, 100%.
So I'll just show in real time. I know very little about this genre, but I know a lot about how search works, right? So the first thing I always tell people is to tag your title, right? So he typed in free NPA young boy type beat. I guarantee you that we're going to see this video. If not, I will be very surprised. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing people that are giving free, and we're seeing very competitive. Summary.
Does the 2018 make a difference that he has in there?
Well, let's try. Free NBA YoungBoy type beat 2018. See how competitive this search is, though? And that's why it becomes very difficult for even a large creator to stand out, which was the argument. Small creators can stand out too. But the problem is that the beats we have, we're almost confusing the algorithm, right? So this is a free NBA YoungBoy type beat, right? 2018. That's what the YouTube sees first. Well, what is Bond? And then I see free type beat. So is this a free NBA Youngboy type beat, or is this just a free type beat? And then I see it's a rap and trap instrumental. So what is it? YouTube doesn't know where to put this because it sees too many. And this goes into a question that was, is it bad to put more than one focus keyword in the title? And YouTube has a hard time understanding where it is. So right now, what the information YouTube was given was that this is a free NBA Youngboy type beat, right? In 2018. But then we're told it is a free type beat, which is technically different than a free NBA Youngboy type beat. And then we're also telling YouTube that this is a rap and trap instrumental. So YouTube's not sure is this a type beat? Is it a free type beat? And yes, this is similar, but then you throw it off by putting in the rap and trap instrumental.
It's crazy.
So you got to understand, YouTube doesn't know where to put this because we're telling YouTube it's three different things. And when we on type beat, which is the most common thing here, we are ranking because that's the most consistent thing. So that's where we're ranking for. So we have another question. If you change, and this is from Nutrix, which is if you change your tags to the tags that are ranking, wouldn't it mean your competition would be higher on those searches? So I'm a little confused by the question. If you change your tags to the tags that are ranking, wouldn't that mean your competition would be higher on those searches? Are you talking about the searches that you changed? So the
Yeah,
tags that
so
aren't ranking?
say Cash Money AP went back into this video, right, and got rid of all the
Yes.
tags that aren't ranking, kept Type B, kept Cash Money AP, and then did some research and found out like, okay, I should use NBA Young Boy Instrumental 2018 or whatever, and that's
Yes.
ranking. He's saying, won't it be more difficult or something if other people are already ranking on that? Like, I guess he's saying like, kind of what's the point, or like, how do you achieve hopefully ranking on those new tags that you implement?
So that's where you do your data and research, right? So you don't just produce a song without having an idea of what you want it to sound like. You essentially you research, you have an idea before you even go in, right? So that's where you can see tags you're ranking for, because if you don't know you're ranking for those tags, it doesn't make sense to add them in there. So here's an example of this, right? So we know that type beat we're ranking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we go for free NBA Youngboy type beat instrumental, right? Let's just try that.
You spelled it wrong. It's too mental.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, good.
As you can see, I never said spelling was my strongest suit.
You're TubeBuddy, man. You're not spelling buddy.
But if you see here, this has high search volume and and not that much competition, right? So this would be something where but looky here. We're seeing that Cash Money already ranks for some of these, but this is an example of a tag that maybe they're not necessarily targeting, but it would be worth trying. And again, we're seeing that Cash Money AP is ranking for some of these. So what that would tell YouTube is that in the past, they've already had authority for ranking. Because what this page shows, the results page shows the first 20 search results for this type of tag or whatever we're searching. Tori IAT, yes, watch time, CTR, and ratings are most important. So that means that watch time, click-through rate, and also depends what are you targeting. CTR means click-through rate. But that, for what we're doing, which is just the tag breakdown, it's more focused on what we're tagging. Now, thumbnail click-through rate, that's something that only you can know on your own personal content. I can't see someone else's click-through rate, which is why it's hard to try to give advice on that.
What about brackets, uppercase letters, lowercase, all that stuff he put in the title? Someone was asking about that real quick. I'm kind of interested what you think on that
YouTube
too.
literally released a blog post that said that capitalization, like all caps, can scare some viewers. It just depends your audience and how they respond to it. Ultimately, what YouTube's going to be looking at is the brackets are nice, but that's mostly for people. The algorithm itself is looking at the words. So the brackets are just to make it look nice for people reading it, right?
Okay. Interesting.
And again, because if you ever type, like here, I'll show you a real world example of this. Like a lot of people focus so much on just proper capitalization. Like I see a lot of people make the mistake of where they put in type like proper, like let's say if I typed in type beat, right? Notice how YouTube, when I look here, all the stuff it's going to highlight are lowercase, and it's what it's focusing on, not so much capitalization. Most people don't, when I rush to search something, I don't focus on capitalization. So YouTube cares more about just getting the results in, which is why they don't really care that much about the extras, which are brackets or, lines or dashes. Those are just really there to stand out amongst what people see visually, because some people search by titles. So, for example, whatever stands out to you or you think looks good, that's your own personal opinion. YouTube just cares about the words, not so much the brackets and such.
Awesome. You guys, I know at TubeBuddy, you guys do a podcast, correct? I think you just hit your 100th episode recently.
Yes, TubeBuddy Express podcast.
And what do you? I'm going to be honest. I've listened here and there, but I want to dive a lot more in. I've really gotten into podcasts lately. What are you guys cover stuff like this on the podcast, or what does it really cover?
So what we cover on the podcast is we talk about some strategies, research, YouTube news, and things like that. So Torgot asks a really good question. Just I want to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
but
please.
On our podcast, what we talk about really is we talk about YouTube. We talk about some things in search. It's just podcast is audio, so a lot of what we do is visual, and it gives examples, but it's kind of hard to teach through it.
Gotcha.
So yes.
And you guys are a certified YouTube partner, correct?
Correct. YouTube certified.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to do some blog posts in the future too, like as we're collaborating on some of the podcasts and sharing some of the information, like the YouTube blog post you just talked about. I'm sure you guys talked about that. It's just good information for our community and staying up to par. So it's good information.
So to answer Toragot's question, we've taken into account personal search results on YouTube. So what we have is an option called Incognito results. So if I use search rankings, which this is a really well optimized video, as you can see by all the tags here. So right here, where this video ranks in YouTube search based on our incognito mode results. So what that does is it disregards cookies and caches. So you can see accurate search results as if you were in an incognito, which is essentially the way that YouTube indexes without personal viewing history. So you're seeing the truest form possible of search results when you type in or when you're using TubeBuddy. Landed price beats, to answer your questions, emojis are pretty much the same way. We tested them for a long time on the TubeBuddy channel for our live streams, and what we found is that they're just essentially there for cosmetic, not so much for affecting. And Tora, to answer your question, the free version allows that too. So yeah, to access that, all you do is you go to TubeBuddy settings. I'm in the wrong logged account, but essentially, if I was to go to settings here, right here, you choose your search ranked method, and that will show you.
Good stuff. Any other tools or anything that jumps out to you? I mean, just based on kind of seeing what our community is asking and kind of seeing how artists and whoever it is are looking for beats online with the type beats and instrumentals. I mean, what else do you think would be beneficial for these guys within the extension?
Well, definitely. So I know that a lot of times what we do as artists is that we'll have a new piece of content. So sometimes you may want to go back and promote your newest album or your newest beats or whatever that may be. So with TubeBuddy, you can do that in bulk. So let's just say, right, that I know that I have a previous link here. So, right. So this gives an example of Spotify or Google Play, or you can do this with your SoundCloud or whatever. Let's say I was using this image, right? I was using this Google Play. What TubeBuddy will go ahead and do is you can replace that bit in the description with your newest SoundCloud album, so you can be promoting your newest album on all of your previous videos within seconds.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really
and
cool.
Again, if you were to do this one by one, that would take a long time.
I've
So
done it.
this
I've done it before. It does.
so yeah, we don't want you to spend time trying to go one by one promoting the same thing. So, one question, we're getting a lot of great questions here, and I just wanted to thank everyone for them. And this isn't a dumb question at all, but does using the same tag multiple times in the same video have any effect? Tags only work in rank once. You can put the same tag in 500 times, but if you rank for it, that's all that matters. So, seeing here, so what about all the producers buying views? That's against YouTube's term of service, and essentially what will happen is if you are not buying ad space, which is the only legal way to buy views, then what happens is that YouTube will see that and not be too happy with that, to answer your question there. So you can see that this is a video ad. This is the only legal form of ways to purchase views. But most of these ads, they like we see here, trap fire free download, right? So if you were to run ads, one thing you could consider is if you wanted to do that is have a really great song, offer a download and let people know about you, but that would be the only time I'd recommend ads. But ads don't act as organic views, so after the ad duration, sometimes ads have a hard time showing up in search because you paid for the traffic. So, hope that answers your question there.
Let me chime in too really quick with this because I hear this all the time. My thing is I always look for the positivity and stuff, right? So we can sit here and we can say, "Oh, these people buying views, these people doing this, da, da, da," and complain about it. But like, what is that complaining going to do without a solution? So my best advice, and I think Andrew will probably agree, and what he's shown you so far is don't worry about what those people are doing. Because if they are buying fake views and they are doing things that are outside the terms of YouTube, eventually I would think they're going to get caught, and it's not a good way of doing things. Focus on your daily craft, focus on upkeeping your stuff, being consistent with your uploads, utilizing this to find the good keys, and just put out great content. It's control what you can control. You cannot control what other people are doing. So I
Absolutely.
just wanted to throw that in there.
And YouTube rewards people that come back to your content. That's why we focus on subscribers. That's why we focus on these things. Is that you should be focusing on building your getting better each time because YouTube recognizes it, especially if you're focusing on good titles, tags, keywords. YouTube wants you to succeed because when you succeed, they make money. And YouTube loves money because Google loves money. So focusing on getting better is probably the best thing I can recommend for that. And with tools such as TubeBuddy, we offer these things that help you get your content to more viewers. One thing I'm noticing, for example, is if I just go in back to Typebeat, is that this is just one we chose earlier, right? But there are some things that this channel isn't doing, right? So there's no info cards, and info cards are a great way. One thing I noticed that a lot of people aren't doing this is make playlist of your albums, make playlist of similar sounding songs because playlists are powerful. If I know as a user that you have a playlist of your album and I can listen to the entire album for free, I think that's important.
Hmm.
So I'm getting asked to, would you please answer Torgot's last question? How long would you recommend we test out a niche before moving on? We obviously won't rank for it overnight for one term, but when is it time to move on? That is always up to the creative, right? So a lot of creatives will focus on one general niche for a long time before moving on. So that is, and Tori, I know people promote their videos with Google. I said you can buy Google Ad Space and showed an example. So I am aware. But to answer your question, it should be it's basically when do you think is the right time? If you are ranking for it and if you put in a lot of work, let's say I always kind of go on a fiscal quarter, which is 3 months. If I put in 3 months or 90 days worth of work onto something and I've put in my heart and soul and I've followed the best practices and I followed everything I know in my power to do, then that's what I would say. If after 3 months of hard work I'm not seeing results, I would consider leaving what I have there because again, a lot of times what we find with YouTube channels is sometimes our older content can find new life. Let's say an album drops and then all of that old content you've produced has new life. You never know what's going to happen in the future. You can only really control what you have in front of you now. That's why I say the 90 days is a good window to focus on that for your niche. And I hope that helps.
Yes, super helpful. I'm learning a lot too. I mean, I feel like I know a lot already, but I'm learning a lot too. Just trying anything else. I'm trying to just think if there's any. If guys, if you have questions, please ask them while we have Andrew here. I'm just trying to think if there's anything that's jumping out to me that I do on a daily basis, because I use YouTube, SoundCloud. I use all these platforms every day and upload beats. So I'm kind of doing the same things you guys are doing.
We're getting a question on Google ads or YouTube ads, which is better. It really just it just depends what you're trying to target. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you're targeting the ad. It more matters how effective is the ad in getting conversions, right?
Yeah. So you can pick, you can go into Google Ads and you can actually pick the ad, like the videos you want to put your ad if it's an in-stream ad. So what's to say that you don't target other producers' videos with your beats on it before their beat plays? I mean, that's kind of crazy, but it's doable. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, Andrew, but I mean, I've tested it.
I mean,
it works. I mean, if you're going after, if that's what you're trying to do, or if you're just trying to build up your views for whatever reason, you can target by video. I mean, I've done it
absolutely.
for a penny per view too. You're not paying an arm and a leg if that's what you're after. There's numerous ways of doing it.
More on the beats asking, so using Sound Like right now is the best way to go for now. If that's what the data shows, then try it, right? It's always, you can see data, but it's how you interpret it, right? I can teach you something, but it's, do you understand it? So Sound Like, as we saw, so songs like Travis Scott was an example earlier, right? That has some pretty decent volume. If you are trying your song name and then this one, then that might be something that works. Now, we're getting a lot of questions about ads, and that's not really my area of expertise, so I'm not going to say too much on that. I know how ads work.
let's get away from that. I'm probably gonna do a different video in the future on that, but let's stick to TubeBuddy here.
Mhm.
Guys, do you have any more questions regarding TubeBuddy and kind of how like the keyword search stuff works and all the other awesome stuff that he showed us, so far? Please ask, ask the questions now.
So it seems just going to wait for a little bit, but while that's going on, do you have any questions for me?
No, I think you've covered it. Like I said, I've been using TubeBuddy. I actually learned a couple things I didn't know, like the Incognito stuff I didn't know about. I thought that was pretty cool. But no, you've explained a lot for sure, and I just, I think it's really cool, what you guys are doing, and thank you for taking the time, because I think all of our community can utilize this. Even the artists, not even just the producers, because we have a lot of artists on the platform as well. So it's really good information, guys. Definitely go tubebuddy.com/BeatStars. Sign up free, mess around with it, check out all the other options and stuff they have. Yeah, I mean, I love TubeBuddy. It's the whole reason why we wanted to partner up with you guys and do this call.
Well, thank you. And we're enjoying the collaboration as well. We're getting to learn with new types of channels because, again, we want to help different types. And music channels are something that are very competitive, but always being looked for.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing to mention, and this was brought up by Radioactive, is tag lists. So if you're not using tag lists while you're researching, so let's go back to Tag Explorer, right? So let's go to songs like Travis Scott, which we know is historically ranking, right? So we can add these to a tag list. So let's say that we have songs that fit, that sound like Travis Scott. Then we can create a new tag list. So we could say tags for songs like Travis Scott. This gives us a way to save tags that we found are pretty, that have pretty decent search volume and low competition, and let us save them. So when we're making a new video, we have examples to go on already. YouTube does reward consistency. 3 times isn't bad, but you have to remember with consistency, if you drop the ball on doing 3 times a week, then you're no longer consistent, which could hurt your morale. So focus on what's viable for you to create. And remember that you can create content, save it to release later too.
Yeah, I mean, not only will it hurt your morale and all that, it's just your customers too. Once you actually establish and you build a customer base, they're going to expect that out of you, in my opinion. If I know that, you know, Landon releases beats Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I really love his beats, I'm probably going to be looking forward to Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So it's not only hurting if you stop on YouTube, it's just hurting in general with your brand and, because at the end of the day, you guys are entrepreneurs, you're a business, right? If your favorite food spot just stops serving food those 3 days, that they're used to eating there, what would you do? So you got to just think of it like that way too.
ATM beats, to answer your question, you want to be specific, because if you type in random tags, like one-word tags, the reason is like I said, YouTube's a search engine. So you have to be that answer to a searchable question if you want to show up in search. I had a question earlier about how do I show up in suggested and recommended. That is basically on your thumbnail, which we kind of briefly talked about, and click-through rate. That's how they base it. Based on thumbnail, click-through rate, watch time is how they recommend things are recommended. Another question we're getting is we're getting things about being only posting once a week. That can be your consistency. Like once a week isn't bad at all. It's you're being consistent, because YouTube, we've shown it earlier. We'll go back to a search that I know where we saw the new tag. Actually, I think I might still be filtering. Let's go back to last hour. But yeah, I was filtering for the wrong thing here. But you see new. As long this means for YouTube is that you're staying consistent and relevant. And another thing is if you can't produce content every week, creating a new playlist is considered creating content on YouTube. So if you know that you have a decent amount of songs that are you could make work in a playlist, then that's powerful. And that could be a new playlist. So like you can create a, let's just choose someone here. We could say target A's play. We could say target A's hits of the month, and that could be a new playlist. And for his audience, that's great, because then if I missed any uploads, I have an easy playlist. Or think about a Spotify album. A playlist could essentially be the equivalent to albums for you, where you could just show the highlights of the month. And that's really powerful, especially for music channels, because if I know that, oh, wow, you've uploaded 20 new songs this month, but I only saw 6, then I have easy access to listen to all of those other pieces. And then you can use TubeBuddy to add cards to your album of the month easily on all of your videos, similar to what we showed earlier.
I hope you guys are listening, because we need like Funk Flex bombs on this, because he just gave you guys some gems. Make sure you're writing this down or going back to this video, because that's super cool and really important.
Because again, make your content so easily available to people in playlists, which think about playlists if you're a music producer as your album. Make playlists your album so they can easily watch the content. If you're on YouTube, then you can use cards. If you're doing ads, then that's a separate thing. But it's, again, I'm talking YouTube, not ads.
Yeah, that's the whole. Yeah, we use CTAs and we do that through the AdWords. That's all. Like I said, we're going to do another tutorial on that. So,
Sidejack beats don't use one-word tags. You're not going to rank for them, because the way YouTube does it is that they don't consider them related. If you type in Travis, you're going to get Travis Scott now, but we have a guy named Travis here. It's always based on relevancy. So, example, that is Travis Green shows up. So one-word tags aren't the way to go. Like if I type in Scott, we're probably going to have a lot of different things, right? It's not the same result. So one-word tags don't work in the way it works on other platforms. YouTube wants specific long-tail keyword phrases, not one-word tags. I mean, we can see this just if we type in the way we do. Keyword score works based on watch time, based on it's a Damien, that's a very complicated thing to answer within here. I can send links to where you can read more about it through TubeBuddy, but it's very high level it can be complicated.
Yeah.
And score and
Agreed.
ranking are not the same thing, which is important. Score just shows how many people are searching for it and how competitive it is. So, for example, this is the search term Scott. It has a lot of competition, but also a lot of search. But it's very bad because look at this competition. And look how frequently people are uploading 1 day, 2 days ago. We can see 4 days. So, like, a lot of people are creating content for this. That's why the score is very bad. So, I'll do one final call for questions, but overall, keeping it on YouTube is very important. Does making a playlist and uploading a beat penalize you if you do that on the same day? I would say save your playlist as new piece of content. Like if you upload a beat that counts as a new piece of content. You don't get penalized for creating a playlist and creating a beat. But what I would say is save those playlists for a week or a day you know you can't create, but you need to post something on YouTube. Use that as a piece of content that counts as activity, so YouTube knows that you're still active. So it doesn't hurt you for doing it on the same day, but there's more value if you upload a piece of content. Let's say I upload on Monday, but next Monday I can't upload. Then I would say create that playlist because then you're creating content for YouTube, and it doesn't penalize the lack of having a content ready. You can spend more time on it and still have a piece of content.
Guys, just another quick piece of advice, more on the BeatStars side. Daily, we actually search BS. What is it? BSTA.rs, and then we pick different terms. So maybe it's just BSTA.rs Juice World or Drake. And that's how we find a lot of your stuff on a daily basis. Then we filter down the daily or weekly or monthly or however we want to search. And that's how, I don't know if you guys have seen a lot lately. We're commenting on a lot of videos. We're adding stuff from here to playlists, reposting stuff on our other networks. So keep that in mind. That's why it's also so important to have that short URL, because we're actually searching by that short URL. So we know we're only finding BeatStars beats. I just wanted to kind of throw that gem out there too, of kind of how we're looking for content when we're on YouTube for within the community specifically.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool how you can find stuff. And I've found a lot of producers that I probably wouldn't have found any other way. We do the same thing within the actual platform too. So we do it that way, but we're kind of hitting, YouTube's such a big search market. So it makes sense for us to do both, and find people. And we have opportunities people submit to as well. So there's a lot of ways we find content.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Sidejack Beats, is that you get 500 characters for tags. Those 500 characters are opportunities for your video to be discovered. So use relevant tags and keywords to your video. Irrelevant tags can get you banned. But if you're using relevant information, relevant tags, go for as many characters as you can, because those are the opportunities for you to be discovered. If you only have 4 tags and you're not being discovered, then you only gave yourself 4 opportunities. Go for as many characters and tags you can put. So in tags, you get a character limit of 500. If you have 16 tags, but you're at a character limit of 499, then if you're ranking for all those tags, keep them. It becomes a per video basis, but generally you want to use as many tags that are relevant as you can.
Awesome.
And looking just to make sure, time of day for hit play beats, that's pretty much based on your audience, because time of day really is for your subscribers. So like if you say I post every day at 3 p.m., that's when you should make your uploads. And for playlists, again, playlists don't get promoted to your audience. They just show as form of activities. So you do that, you create a new playlist, not adding a video to an old one, creating a new playlist if it makes sense, because you can't upload. That's always up to you. And then if you post at 3 p.m., then it would make sense maybe to promote, hey, I just created a playlist at 3 p.m. on your Twitter or wherever you're going, Twitter, YouTube, etc. If it makes sense that you post every day at 3 p.m. and then you don't have an upload ready, but you made a playlist, then yeah, I would say promote it at 3 p.m. You don't have to make it at 3 p.m., but you should promote it around the time you normally post. Hit Play Beat says, and so you did say if we only rank for 2 tags, we can go back and redo all the other tags that aren't ranking, right? Yes, because what that means, I will say this with a caveat. If it's past a month, YouTube can still rank a video within a month, but let's say you have a video that is a year old and you're ranking for 2 tags and nothing else, then go back and try to rank for those tags. But again, it's all based on time because as I showed here, YouTube has relevancy factors and they have a lot of things that they consider when they are trying to rank a video. So keep that in mind. And the 3 p.m. was just based on the example of what they gave. I'm not saying 3 p.m. is the best time to upload. I would always say use your data and analytics to know what's the best for you.
Yep, which is a whole nother tutorial, is
Yes.
how to utilize all your analytics and how to know your business in and out. At the end of the day, guys, I said it before, you guys are a business, you're entrepreneurs, you have to think that way. It's
Absolutely.
not just about selling beats online. There's people, making a living off of this and doing what they love. So you have to think that way and utilize all these cool tools.
So Landon Price Beats, your best upload is going to be biased. So YouTube analytics again shows you that. So if you want best on watch time, best on click through rate, YouTube gives you all that. So yeah. So I went ahead. Can I drop that link I told you about BeatStars in offline for free TubeBuddy?
Yeah, absolutely.
So for anyone here who's not tried the paid versions of TubeBuddy, go ahead and have a free trial on us. We are going to. I tried to drop in the chat. It says I'm not allowed. If you can do that,
Oh,
BeatStars.
yep. Let me grab it
Yeah,
out
we're
of.
gonna let you try a free version of TubeBuddy. No credit card, nothing. Just try it. Let us know if you like it. We want to see what you guys have to say. And that's also a thank you for kind of just showing up.
Yeah, this is awesome. I think people got a lot out of this.
Class EB says, heck yeah, thanks. Absolutely. We do our best. Now, if you've had a free trial before, unfortunately, it may not work for you. But if you've never had one, it should work.
Sweet.
But yeah, thank you so much, everyone here. We do our best to listen. And I see that comment that I've been using TubeBuddy for a bit, but clearly haven't been utilizing it to its full potential. We have tons of how-to videos on our own channel, and we are in the chat if you want to check that out.
I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear some TubeBuddy type beats.
Hey, we're always looking for music on the channel too. So if you guys have great music, I'm
There
the
you
head of
go.
production. So the reason I typed in those tags the way I did is I love beats. When I'm editing, I want a good beat to edit to, and constantly I'm looking for new beats because beats, when you edit on the beat, you understand that it gives it a rhythm, it gives it a unique sound.
Mm-hmm.
So for the highest level of TubeBuddy, which is the $30 a month TubeBuddy, you get A/B testing, which allows you to know the click through. Like you can see which thumbnails do the best for you, so you can create the best thumbnails that'll get people to click because you want people to click through on your videos. And
Awesome.
if you don't use TubeBuddy, we hope you found something valuable here.
Man, get out of here with that vidIQ stuff. This guy. I got your back, Andrew. Don't worry. No, it's all good, man. We're open to discussions and try it out, guys. Give you a free trial. I think he gave you a lot of information. And it's much appreciated, Andrew. Thanks for taking the time. I know we've been on here for over an hour, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's also, I think it's cool to see what Kid Fresh on Tractor said. I love TubeBuddy. I've grown my subscriber count up to 19K by using TubeBuddy. Kid Fresh on Track, you did that by having great content. We just helped you do the back end stuff so you can create more of it. Again, all we want to do is help all of you creators focus on creating.
You guys literally have probably the same company message as us, right? So we're at the end of the day, we're a technology platform, but we're huge music lovers, and we've all have musicians or have been in the industry for a long time. So that's what BeatStars is. It's the same thing. We're giving you the tools, and we're giving you the resources to be the best you can be, and it's up to you to make the best content and take your business where you want it to go. If you sit back and do nothing, then you're probably not going to make any sales. So utilize all these cool tools. We're here to help. As you can see, we're really going to be ramping up more content like this, and working with awesome companies like TubeBuddy, and just trying to help you guys as much as possible. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Again, Andrew, TubeBuddy, thank you for taking the time. It's much appreciated. And then, like I said, I want to get with you too, Andrew, about getting some of those podcasts and stuff, and we'll do some blog posts so we can get some more information and key stuff to our members.
Awesome. I'd love to help out your community. And it's been great getting some real-time feedback, seeing some real opinions, and getting just a different view on a channel type. Because as I said, we want to help all channel types, but music is one that we haven't had an opportunity to really dive deeper in, and getting to work with your community gets us to understand what musicians are thinking and how they're tagging so we can help more.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you so much again. This was awesome. I learned a lot. I'm hoping everybody else did, which I think they did. So we'll wrap it up. This should be live on our YouTube, and we're gonna also chop it up, some really key points, and use on other social media networks. So please check it out. Take the free trial. And if you guys have questions, we're here. So again, Andrew, thank you. TubeBuddy, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys.